Hey everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the vlog. So today's episode is slightly different to what we normally bring you, and that's because I am actually on holiday while you're watching this. So rather than bring you nothing, I thought I'd bring you a video that I produced or created earlier on during the year when Audi were kind enough to invite me out to a vloggers day. So they invited a whole bunch of YouTubers and gave them the opportunity to drive their cars, and of course I drove several cars that day, and I think I brought out one video earlier on, but this particular video is about my hero car, the Audi R8. So it was a great moment for me because I was able to spend a good hour with the car, just driving around, getting to know it and really getting under the bonnet of that vehicle. So this is that video. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you in a short while. Okay, so this car needs no introduction, this being the R8 V10, absolutely fantastic beast. And of course, this being the rear view drive performance model, so that's a rear wheel drive, which is a break from tradition from Audi, because normally they always go for the four-wheel drive, but this bad boy is kicking out at the rear wheels only. So let's talk power. So 570 brake horsepower delivered by this legendary V10 model, and it's pushing out 550 newton meters of torque. Now that's quite surprising considering that this is a 5.2 litre engine, and the power output here is pretty much close to the RS3. So yeah, interesting. But can you daily an R8? Well, we're going to take a look and see if that's possible. Okay, so sitting in the R8 now, driving position is absolutely perfect. You're kind of leaning just back from the seat. Bottom itself is pushing up just to give you that real perfect feel. And in terms of seating position, we're in a really good position in terms of what we can see here. So just gonna start the car and take a look at the dashboard here now. That dashboard is absolutely functional, giving you everything that you need. No center console, because everything you need is here in the middle of the screen. So basically no fancy dashboard, just the right drive and the right system that you need in order to be able to drive. You can hear different valve clearance, so we're going to stick her in sports mode, and you can definitely hear. Here, let's put her into sports mode. Now she's in sports mode. All right, let's take her for a spin. Right, so we're in the S3 now, and we've got her in sports mode. Here we go, that's better. Steering wheel right up. I do like driving this with the steering wheel close by. Now this is the second time I've driven an S3. Right, let's take her out of sports mode now, because we're going through a village. We don't want to upset the neighbours, do we? Right, so can you daily an S3? Good question.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
Not an S3, an R8 even. Wrong car. Right, so can you daily an R8? That is the question. Well, we're about to find out. So we're going to take this car for a little spin, and we're just driving through this beautiful historic village in the Cotswolds now, and we're going down a nice little country lane. And you can imagine that this is the sort of location where a car like this would live, in a garage somewhere under cotton wool, probably driven on weekends. But if you had the option, could you drive this car on a daily basis? And then the question is, would you daily drive this car? Well, cars like these are designed to be driven, really. So to have this car sitting in a garage would be sacrilege, really, wouldn't it? I mean, a lot of people who own these, I mean, you know, they're not cheap, let's face it, but you know, you buy these cars to drive, not to sit in a garage and to wrap up in cotton wool, and I certainly wouldn't want to do that. Okay, let's take this car out and see how she performs, to give ourselves a little bit of distance from the car in front. and then put it in sports mode and go. Wow, oh my goodness, what a car. This is the first time I've driven an R8 on the open roads, and it does not disappoint. I think I'd probably use up all my fuel just doing that, bringing the car up to speed. But in terms of supercars go, this is a very menial car to drive in terms of its road characteristics. While it's a beast to drive, it's very forgiving, and Audi have put a lot of electronics in here, traction controls and ESPs, to make sure that you don't lose this car unnecessarily. I mean, if you do lose this car, it's because you're being absolutely stupid. So we've been driving this car now for about 5 minutes. We're just going down a public highway, and you know what, it's quite a menial car to drive. It's the view is not bad. I'm looking at the back here, and I've got plenty of access, plenty of view. All around visibility is great. I can see exactly where I need to, and it's a very comfortable drive. I wonder what it'll be like after about 6 or 7 hours. But in terms of road responsiveness, oh, this car's fantastic, it really is. I could really do with driving one of these for a week, Audi. But the last time I drove this car, I put the title "Never Meet Your Heroes," and this is my hero car. This is the car, not particularly this model because this is way out of my price range, but in terms of owning an R8, I've always dreamt of owning an R8. But of course I have that issue where I drive cars and then I get bored of them really quickly. This is one car I would never get bored of, because just the soundtrack alone, although we can't really hear it at the moment, and this is why I love this car, because you don't have that roar of the engine in the background all the time, which after a while gets annoying. You know, you've got a pretty normal car that you're driving. If I didn't know that I was driving an R8 and someone blindfolded me and put me in here, you'd think that you was driving any other car in the range, even to the point that the suspension on this is comfortable. It's a real comfortable drive. I mean, it might be that the road we're driving is really smooth, but in terms of drivability, this car drives great. And when you put your foot down, boy, does she reward you. Now, in terms of the instruments, I mean, I'm looking at my MPG on this car, and that might be a bit of a problem, because currently I'm doing 9.3 miles to the gallon, and even though my range is 325, it's definitely gone down a bit. Right, okay, let's put in sports mode now, and let's do some twisted stuff in sports mode. It's brilliant. This is such a brilliant car. Oh, Audi, don't you ever retire this car. Right, okay, so again, final verdict, can you daily an R8? Yes, you can. Would I buy an R8? Oh yes, I would. Gonna have to maybe cash in that pension slightly early, but I'm sure cars are appreciating in value, so it might just be worthwhile. But oh, this is such an enjoyable drive. And normally when I drive a car the second time, I kind of like the va-va-voom is sort of taken out of it. Not this car. Not this car. It feels as good and as exciting the first time I drove it, or as the first time I've driven it. So I've been pleasantly surprised, and I was a little bit apprehensive about driving this car the second time, because I thought after driving it the first time, will it be underwhelming? It certainly hasn't been. And and of course being on a public road as well, it's just been a great, absolute great experience. And it's funny because with all the specification that this car has, all the power that it has, the numbers and new meters of torque, you don't really worry about it when you're driving it. You just worry about it. All you do is just enjoy the drive, and I'm enjoying the drive in this car. It's such a great car. If you get the opportunity to drive an R8, you must, because the smile on your face will never leave you. You'll be dreaming about this car forever. Thank you, Audi, for the opportunity. It's been great. Okay, so that's it. Really good car. I absolutely adored that car, and having the opportunity to be able to drive that was just fantastic. So I really want to thank Audi and Audi media team for the invite and the privilege to have been able to drive those wonderful vehicles for the morning. So next week we'll be back on the TTS. We'll be dealing with these injectors. I've got some parts. Basically, we've refurbished our injectors, so we'll be getting that sorted, getting the final build of the engine, and then hopefully getting that engine back into the car. So look forward to seeing you there, joining me on that one on next week's episode. In the meantime, have a great week, because I know I am, because I am sunning myself somewhere in Europe. So yeah, see you next week.